Hello, hello. Good to see you, Harley. Good to hear that you're doing okay. This mic some days it picks it up better, and then some days it doesn't. But yeah, I'm just counting the seconds because she doesn't like me talking for some reason, and so she usually gets up at the worst, at a less ideal moment, pretty much. But it's good to see you. Good to hear from you. I gotta do a. Jeez, what am I trying to say? A shout out, but I don't want it to play a huge song, and it's very long. Like the intro, it's just very long. So let's do follows. And then I think it's this one. You know, it probably would have been better to look it up, but I digress. I'm just gonna put this one instead, and maybe it'll change. Sometimes this stuff, like, literally, it reverts back, so I don't know if that's gonna happen. No! I clicked the button that wanted to teach me a language. I don't want to speak. But shout out to Murtasuki. Welcome. Thank you so much for following. Welcome to the family. Also, thanks once again for the raid, man. Nope. Still the long one. I love it, but welcome Murtasuki. It's hard for me to think. Like, sometimes I'll go back and I'll be like reading, I'm like, didn't I just read all of this? And it usually is true, but sometimes it repeats itself, like, not twice, but like 10 to 20 times at certain points when I'm reading. I'm like, there must be something important. Why is it emphasizing this chapter so much? So I'm gonna continue the reading. If you are here now live or for the VOD later, make sure to hit that follow, subscribe if you'd like. We're live on Twitch, Kick, and YouTube. We're going to be going live soon. Again, we're going to try to go back onto Facebook Live. And then after that, I think we'll start to resume before probably the TikTok stream. But I have to figure out how to go live on that without it, you know, being a multi-stream or something. So there's a lot of different parameters to using TikTok, and it's like, it's not always worth it. Not always worth it. Goodness, my whole family ended up having like this illness, and it's the first time I've been feeling like a little like acid reflux. So I'm not enjoying that too much, but it's all good. So I digress. But what's interesting is it's not showing your messages on the chat box. That's weird. Okay, I guess we don't need it. But yeah, we're live, multi-streaming y'all. Shout out to Streamlabs. Shout out to Stream Elements as well for the sponsorships. I'm probably going to be ending my sponsorship with the Yahtzee campaign and doing the zombie one. So I'll probably be switching, but I don't know. I'm still undecided. I'm trying to talk to them to get the full amount that I earned because so far, they're not honoring me reaching the goal and certain things, so I'm supposed to be getting paid like 50 plus more, but we'll see what happens. That, and I wouldn't have spent money if I knew that the in-game whatever wasn't gonna work for the bonus, and more or less I wasn't gonna do it. I definitely shouldn't have if they're not gonna, you know, do what it says on the campaign by reimbursing and paying it. So I'm just frustrated at that. So hopefully they don't do something dishonorable. But I've had to message them like 10, 13 times, so that's a bit frustrating. So I won't be doing another sponsor unless they fix that with the Yahtzee. But Hopefully they will listen. Hopefully they will listen. I've been back home since Tuesday morning for my trip. Oh, very cool. Where did you go to? Are you gonna go? Are you going? Oh man, but reading is like I'm gonna try, but I have like major acid reflux. I don't know exactly why it's still that way, but yeah, was in Tacoma. Okay. I mean, if you like to travel, that's good, right? I'd like to travel. Um, so yeah, we're gonna continue today. I'm gonna do chapter 14 and 15. So that's Second Samuel chapter 14 and chapter 15. As long as I can keep reading and I don't have anything else become a problem. So this is definitely, hopefully, gonna lead to helping my reading inability. I mean, I definitely can read, but I need to get back to reading effectively. That's kind of like the hope. So bear with me as I misenunciate and stuff like that. But 2 Samuel 14. Now Joab the son of Zeruiah knew that the kings went out to Absalom. And Joab sent to Tekoa and brought from there a wise woman and said to her, pretending to be a mourner, pretend to be a mourner and put our mourning garments. Do not anoint yourself with oil, but behave like a woman who has been mourning many days for the dead. Go to the king and speak thus to him. So Joab put the words in her mouth. When the woman Tekoa came to the king, she fell on her face to the ground and paid homage and said, Save me, O king. And the king said to her, What is your trouble? She answered, Alas, I am a widow, my husband is dead, and your servant has 2 sons. Your servant had 2 sons, and they quarreled with one another in the field. There was no one to separate them, and one struck the other and killed him. And now the whole clan has risen against your servant, and they say, Give up the man who struck his brother, that we may put him to death for the life of his brother whom he killed. And so they would defend their heir also. Thus they would quench my coal that is left and leave to my husband neither name nor remnant on the face of the earth. Then the king said to the woman, Go to your house, and I will give orders concerning you. And the woman of Tekoa said to the king, On me be the guilt, my lord the God. Sorry, that distracted me. Then the king said to the woman, Go to your house, and I will give orders concerning you. Verse 9. And the woman of Tekoa said to the king, On me be the guilt, my lord the king, and on my father's house. Let the king and his throne be guiltless. The king said, If anyone says anything to you, bring him to me, and he shall never touch you again. Then she said, Please let the king invoke the Lord your God, that the avenger of blood kill no more, and my son be not destroyed. He said, As the Lord lives, not one hair on your son shall fall to the ground. And the woman said, Please let your servant speak a word to me. Well, I'm going to restart that. Then the woman said, Please let your servant speak a word of the Lord. The word, my gosh. Then the woman said, my brain is just not working. Then the woman said, Please let your servant speak a word to my lord the king. There we go. Woo! He said, Speak. Literally, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to speak. That's kind of funny. Okay. These aren't even the hard words. That's the worst part. Okay. It's a loud ding. All right, verse 13. I knew it. I knew it. I could sense it.
Is considered average in the U.S.
That's frustrating. Everything, every time. It's like, gotta space it out. Space it out. Let's do it all. Let's do it one more time, right? One more time's not a problem. Then the woman said, "Please let your servant speak a word to my lord the king." He said, "Speak." And the woman said, "Why then have you planned such a thing against the people of God? For in giving this decision, the king convicts himself. Inasmuch as the king does not bring his banished one home again." It's like they're, I don't know, it feels like they're like wording it differently than I'm like understanding it. It's like difficult, right? It's difficult. Why did it just go bidding? Oh, aha! It was a spam bot. For in giving this decision, the king convicts himself, inasmuch as the king does not bring his banished one home again. We must all die. We are like water spilled on the ground, which can't. My gosh, my brain is not understanding. I don't understand this. Jesus, please help me read this book. Then the woman said, "Please let your servant speak a word to my lord the king." He said, "Speak." And the woman said, "Why then have you planned such a thing against the people of God? For in giving this decision, the king convicts himself, inasmuch as the king does not bring his banished one home again. We must all die. We are like water spilled on the ground, which cannot be gathered up again. But God will not take away life, and he devises means so that the banished one will not remain an outcast. Now I have come to say this to my lord the king, because the people have made me afraid, and your servant thought, I will speak to the king. It may be that the king will perform the request of his servant. For the king will hear and deliver his servant from the hand of the man who would destroy me, and my son together from the heritage of God. And your servant thought, the word of my lord the king will set me at rest, for my lord the king is like the angel of God to discern good and evil. The Lord your God will be with you." Then the king answered the woman, "Do not hide from me anything I ask you." And the woman said, Let my lord the king speak." The king said, "Is the hand of Joab with you in all this?" The woman answered and said, "As surely as you live, my lord the king, one cannot turn to the right hand or to the left from anything that the Lord my king, the Lord the king, has said. It was your servant Joab who commanded me. It was he who put all these words in the mouth of your servant, in order to change that course, the course of things. Your servant Joab did this. But my Lord has wisdom like the wisdom of the angel of God, to know all things that are on the earth." The king said to Joab, "Behold now, I grant this. Go bring back the young man Absalom." And Joab fell on his face to the ground and paid homage and blessed the king. And Joab said, "Today your servant knows that I have found favor in your sight, my lord the king, and that the king has granted the request of his servant." So Joab arose and went to Jeshurun and brought Absalom to Jerusalem. And the king said, "Let him dwell apart in his own house. He is not to come into my presence." So Absalom lived apart in his own house and did not come into the king's presence. Now in all Israel there was no one so much to be praised for this handsome appearance as Absalom. From the sole of his foot to the crown of his head there was no blemish in him. And when he cut the hair of his head, for at the end of every year he used to cut it, when it was heavy on him he cut it. He weighed the hair of his head, 200 shekels by the king's weight. There were born to Absalom 3 sons and 1 daughter, whose name was Tamar. She was a beautiful woman. So Absalom lived 2 full years in Jerusalem without coming into the king's presence. Then Absalom sent for Joab to send him to the king, but Joab would not come to him. And he sent a second time, but Joab would not come. Then he said to his servants, "See, Joab's field is next to mine, and he has barley there. Go and set it on fire." So Absalom's servant set the field on fire. Then Joab arose and went to Absalom at his house and said to him, "Why have
The government is banning
I knew it.
$9 adaptive glasses next month, and this is your last shot to get the original military grade version.
I knew it." So Absalom's servant set the field on fire. Verse 31. Then Joab arose and went to Absalom at his house and said to him, "Why have your servants set my field on fire?" Absalom answered Joab, "Behold, I sent word to you. Come here, that I may send you to the king, to ask, Why have I come to Jeshurun? Why have I come from Jeshurun? It would be better for me to be there still. Now therefore let me go into the presence of the king, and if there is guilt in me, let him put me to death." Then Joab went to the king and told him, and he summoned Absalom. So he came to the king and bowed himself on his face to the ground before the king, and the king kissed Absalom. And if they call you, you better come. If Jesus calls you, you better run. You better run to him. That's a thing. All right, and we're gonna continue chapter 15 here. Because why not? Why not? Second Samuel chapter 15. After this, Absalom got himself a chariot and horses, and 40 men to run before him. And Absalom used to rise early and stand beside the way of the gate. And when any man had a dispute to come before the king for judgment, Absalom would call to him and say, "From what city are you?" And when he said, "Your servant is of such and such a tribe in Israel," Absalom would say to him, "See, your claims are good and right, but there is no man designed by the king to hear you." Then Absalom would say, "Oh, that I were judged in the land! Then every man with a dispute or cause might come to me, and I would give him justice." And whenever a man came near to pay homage to him, he would put on his hand and take hold of him and kiss him. Thus Absalom did to all of Israel who came to the king of judgment. So Absalom stole the heart of the men of Israel. And at the end of 4 years, Absalom said to the king, "Please let me go and pay my vow, which I have vowed to the Lord in Hebron. For your servant vowed a vow while I lived at Jeshurun in Aram, saying, If the Lord will indeed bring me back to Jerusalem, then I will offer worship to the Lord." The king said to him, "Go in peace." So he arose and went to Hebron. But Absalom sent secret messengers throughout all the tribes of Israel, saying, "As soon as you hear the sound of the trumpet, then say, Absalom is king at Hebron." With Absalom went 200 men from Jerusalem who were invited guests, and they went in their innocence and knew nothing. And while Absalom was offering the sacrifices, he went for Ahithophel the Gilonite, David's counselor, from his city Gilo. And the conspiracy grew strong, and the people with Absalom kept increasing. And a messenger came to David, saying, "The hearts of the men of Israel have gone after Absalom." Then David said to all his servants who were with him at Jerusalem, "Arise and let us flee, or else there will be no escape for us from Absalom. Go quickly, lest he overtake us quickly, and bring down ruin on us, and strike the city with the edge of his sword." And the king's servants said to the king, "Behold, your servants are ready to do whatever my lord the king decides." So the king went out, and all his household after him. And the king left 10 concubines to keep the house. And the king went out, and all the people after him. And they halted at the last house. And all his servants passed by him, all the Cherethites, all the Pelethites, and all the 600 Gittites who had followed him from Gath, passed on before him, the king. Then the king said to Ittai the Gittite, "Why do you also go with us? Go back and stay with the king, for you are a foreigner and also an exile from your house. You came only yesterday, and shall I today make you wander about with us? Since I go, I know not where. Go back and take your brothers with you, and may the Lord show steadfast love and faithfulness to you." But Ittai answered the king, "As the Lord lives, and as my lord the king lives, wherever my lord the king shall be, whether for death or for life, there also will be your servant be." And David said to Ittai, "Go then, pass on." So Ittai the Gittite passed with all his men, and all the little ones who were with him. And all the land wept aloud as all the people passed by, and the king crossed the brook Kidron, and all the people passed on towards the wilderness. And Abiathar came up, and behold, Zadok came, also with all the Levites, bearing the ark of the covenant of God. And they set down the ark of God until the people had all passed out of the city.
I can turn your wildest ideas into a song. Just describe it in a few words. Choose a style, and let Mareka the...
Verse 24, And Abiathar came up, and behold, Zadok came also with all the Levites, bearing the ark of the covenant of God. And they set down the ark of God until the people had all passed out of the city. Then the king said to Zadok, "Carry the ark of God back into the city. If I find favor in the eyes of the Lord, he will bring me back, and let me see both it and his dwelling place. But if he says, I have no pleasure in you, behold, here I am. Let him do to me what seems good to him." The king also said to Zadok the priest, "Are you not a seer? Go back to the city in peace with your 2 sons, Ahimaaz, your son, and Jonathan, the son of Abiathar. See, I will wait at the fords of the wilderness until word comes from you to inform me." So Zadok and Abiathar carried the ark of God back to Jerusalem, and they remained there. But David went up the ascent of the Mount of Olives, weeping as he went, barefoot and with his head covered. And all the people who were with him covered their heads. And they went up, weeping as they went. And it was told David, "Ahithophel is among the conspirators with Absalom." And David said, "O Lord, please turn the counsel of Ahithophel into foolishness." While David was coming to the summit where God was worshipped, behold, Hushai the Archite came to meet him with his coat torn in dirt on his head. David said to him, "If you go on with me, you will be a burden to me. But if you return to the city and say to Absalom, I will be your servant, O king, as I have been with your father's servant in time past, so now I will be your servant. Then you will defeat for me the council of Ahithophel. And are Zadok and Abiathar, the priests, with you there? Are they not there with you? So whatever you hear from the king's house, tell it to Zadok and Abiathar, the priests. Behold, their 2 sons are with them there, Ahimaaz, Zadok's son, and Jonathan, Abiathar's son, and by them you shall send me everything you hear. So Hushai, David's friend, came into the city just as Absalom was entering Jerusalem. It's definitely different times, right? It's crazy how God does so much and has done so much from the beginning of, oh my gosh, from the beginning of time. So thank you guys for watching. We're continuing to read more and more about the story and the life of David. So we're gonna continue. Maybe they're gonna talk more about Solomon. Maybe not. Maybe we're gonna go into further detail about where. Maybe it'll lead to Jericho. Maybe it'll lead wherever the Lord wants it to go. So thank you for joining Harley. It's great to see you as always. I love you. Love you guys. Thank you for stopping in. And once again, welcome Murda Suki. God bless and welcome to the family. So thank you, Father, for everybody that watches this VOD or has joined the live. I just thank you and I pray for blessings, joy, and peace to just come and just make your presence around them and fill them with joy that they've never understood, God, that surpasses understanding and happiness, God. Heal what is broken in the mind and what is broken in the heart and even the physical body. In Jesus' name, amen. So y'all, I'll see you in a little bit. Maybe play a little bit Yahtzee, but God bless.